Good evening and welcome. I call to order the City of Apple Valley Planning Commission meeting for March 6th, 2024. The first item is our agenda. Is there, for approval, is there any changes from staff?
Mr. Vice Chair, members of the commission, we would, at this time, we would like to request that we move posted item number 5 up to number 4. Take the referendum or the finding compliance resolution first, and then hold the public hearing on the rezoning subsequent to that. So just basically reverse number 4 and 5 together, or just reverse those two,
Okay.
if you please.
So we'll take and do the land use first.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any changes from the commission?
Move approval as amended.
Second.
All right. That was moved by Schindler and seconded by McComb. The next item is did it again. All in favor indicate by saying aye to the agenda.
Aye.
Aye. That moves forward. The next item is the approval of the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine and will be enacted with a single motion without discussion unless a commissioner or citizen requests to have any items separately considered. It will then be moved to the land use and action items for consideration. Consent agenda items is approval of the minutes for March 6th.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler and seconded by Commissioner Holmes. All in favor indicating by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That moves forward. The next item is we are going to do the land use item number 5A first. Excuse me, we don't have to open up a action item on that, so go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. As noted, this is a finding of compliance with the comprehensive plan. We have Eric, our Parks Director, here to be able to make his presentation. I apologize, my voice is cutting out on me as I bring this up. So Eric will go through the parks projects. As the Commission is aware, one of the requirements by state statute is that the Planning Commission have a finding of compliance for all large capital expenditures that a city makes. The parks referendum, we've chosen to group them all together to make it easier rather than breaking out each individual park. And with that, I'm going to be turning it over to Eric.
Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. I will go through my presentation here, and let's see there we go. So we typically start our presentations by looking at the city's mission, our goals, and our keys to success. And with this Parks Referendum, we did that every step of the process, and really Apple Valley's pledge to promote and enhance the health, safety, and general well-being of the citizens and all that visit the city, and we think that Parks and Recreation does a pretty good job of that. There's a number of keys to success that match up with Parks and Recreation. That's a community of a lifetime, healthy and active, sustainable, safe, accessible, parks to experience, etc. So we try to make sure that what we're doing is in line with the city's mission, our goals, and our keys to success. So similar to you, there's a Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee made up of citizens of Apple Valley that are appointed by the City Council, and their job is to oversee what happens in Parks and Recreation. And they worked to engage the community to talk about what residents wanted to see in their Parks and Recreation services that we provide. And we looked at updating our parks and our trails, reinvesting in some of our recreational facilities, creating new master plans for some of our parks, and then making sure that we're protecting and enhancing our natural environment. We did quite a bit of, as a part of the process, we did quite a bit of community feedback and gaining comments from the public. We hosted a variety of public meetings, both virtually and in person. We did some public design charrettes where we invited the public to come in and actually sit down with our consultants and design some of our master plans. We used a tool called Social Pinpoint where people could log on to our website, leave comments, specific comments in specific locations in our parks, 24/7, 365, so we gathered a lot of feedback that way. And what we found was that residents want to ensure that we have adequate facilities. They want to make sure that we have quality facilities and that we make improvements to those. They want to make sure that we're doing a good job of maintaining our park system so that we can have a community for a lifetime. And in one of the surveys that we did, 85% of the respondents said that parks are important to the quality of life in Apple Valley, and 87% of folks said that it was important in protecting the value of their home. So ultimately, we had a 2-question Parks Referendum survey back in November of 2023. And these were the items that were on question number 1. There was trails for $2 million, natural resources for $2 million, an investment in the Apple Valley Community Center Senior Center of $10.6 million, an investment in the Apple Valley Aquatic Center of $8.1 million, and then preservation of the existing park system. So that's new playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball courts, lighting systems, irrigation systems, all those types of things. So that was $16.7 million. Then we had a complete makeover of Kelley Park for $8.6, update to the refrigeration equipment in Hayes Arena for $3.9, a youth baseball softball complex on the Westview Elementary property for $5.2, and then a complete makeover of Redwood Park for $9.6. So that first question totaled $66.7 million and would cost the median valued home at $19.53 a year if it were to pass. I'm sorry, a month if it were to pass. And then we had a second question based on feedback that we had received from the community and through the survey process, and that was the replacement of the community pool at Redwood Park. That was an additional $6.5 million investment to Redwood Park, or $1.90 per month for the median value home. And once we tallied all of the results of the election, question 1 passed by a little over 66%, with 5,800 yes votes and 2,900 no votes. In every single precinct in the city, question 1 passed by a majority, and so that question did pass. And then in question 2, again, that was the pool-related question, and that question passed by a 60 to 40% margin, with approximately 5,200 voters voting in favor and 3,400 voting against it. But again, it did pass in every single precinct in the city. So again, with the referendum passing, we're planning to make a $2 million investment in our trails. So we're going to be resurfacing about 75% of our existing trails. And then there'll be a few sections of trails that we build brand new to help connect some gaps that we might have in the system. Natural resources was another important topic to residents of Apple Valley, and so we're looking at a $2 million investment in that, and that's really to protect our wooded areas, make sure we're reforesting our park system, especially given all of the ash trees that we're having to remove because of the EAB and the emerald ash borer. We're wanting to create natural prairies and pollinator-friendly areas as we work through the park system. And we've got that $16.7 million investment in really the core of the Apple Valley Park system, and that's our tennis courts, all of our neighborhood parks, etc. And we've got the $8.1 million investment in the Aquatic Center. The Aquatic Center is actually 25 years old. Some people think it was built just yesterday, but it actually needs to be reinvested in it. Just like your house at home, you need to put a new roof, a new water heater, those types of things. Those are the types of things that we'll be doing at the Apple Valley Aquatic Center, along with adding some shade and making some other improvements. We'll probably be renaming the facility and giving it a theme, if you will. And we've got a $10.6 million investment in the Apple Valley Community Center Senior Center. And really what we're aiming to do is to connect the two buildings between where the outdoor playground is right now. So that will disappear. A building will be constructed. We'll be constructing an indoor playground, a small fitness area geared towards seniors, and then just some more program space, along with updating some of the community rooms, the lobby, and kind of tying the facade of the exterior of all the buildings so that as you drive up off of Hayes Road, the Hayes Arena, the Senior Center, and the Community Center all look like it's a campus, if you will. Right now, if you were to drive up, the buildings all look a little bit different, and it doesn't feel like it's all one. And so part of our goal is to make it feel like it's a campus. Then with the passage of the community pool, we're going to be making a $16.1 million investment in Redwood Park. And that's an inclusive playground where we received a $1.4 million in state bonding. We also received $500,000 from the federal government to help with that project. We'll be replacing the community pool and all of the different park amenities that are in the park right now. On the south side, I don't have the updated version of the master plan. I think the commission is probably aware the county is updating and doing work on County Road 42. They're going to be removing the light here at Elm, and as a part of that, they're going to be constructing a pedestrian underpass of County Road 42 so people can get north and south of 42 safely, pedestrians. And as a part of that, they're going to need to do some more ponding. And so this baseball field is going to disappear. This will end up being a ponding area for the roadway project. But then this entire south part of the park is going to turn into more of a natural area, prairies, butterfly habitat, etc. Again, residents thought or felt like natural resources was very important. So instead of this being a mowed area, it's going to end up being more of a natural area. And we've got Kelley Park, where we are going to be building a larger stage. This area here will be graded so that it's kind of gently sloping, almost it'll feel a little bit like stadium seating. We're going to be replacing the splash pad. Right now, this splash pad, the water actually goes straight to the drain. And so we're going to put a new splash pad in. We're going to capture that water, and we're going to try to use it for irrigation purposes in the park itself so that we're using that water as opposed to just throwing it down the drain. We're replacing the playground equipment, adding some on-site parking, and so those are some of the general improvements that we're planning for Kelley Park. Then we're looking at a youth baseball softball complex. It would be constructed on the Westview Elementary property, and some of it will end up on the city's property, but behind the community center. We'll end up with a joint powers agreement with the school district to build that. They'll have some access to it during the school day, and the community will use it on nights and weekends. And this will be popular for both youth baseball and youth softball. This is not going to be geared towards adults. It's going to be too small for adults. And so the youth in the community will see a lot of good use with this improvement in the future. Then we are also replacing the refrigeration system at Hayes Arena. We have R22 at the Hayes Arena. R22 there's no longer being manufactured, and the EPA is wanting all of us to try to stop using it. So we are putting in, I think it's 516A as a new refrigerant. We are putting a pad-mounted refrigeration equipment on the outside of the building, and that project has actually started as of about a week ago. So we're hoping to have that project complete by June when our summer hockey program starts to ramp back up again. So again, the 2023 referendum did pass both questions by a 66 and a 60% margin, and so we thank the community for supporting that because it's going to make some awesome improvements in our entire park and recreation system that should benefit people whether you're 5 or 95 years old and everywhere in between. Tentatively speaking, we're looking at probably 3 different bond sales, probably about a $16 million bond sale in 2024. People will start seeing that impact their taxes starting in 2025 at about $56 a year for the median value home. Then in 25, we're looking at selling another $29 million worth of bonds. That'll start hitting people's taxes in 2026 at a little over $100 a year. And then we'll planning to sell the final allotment of bonds in 2026, again impacting residents of the median value home of about another additional $100 a year. So in total, it's about a $257 a year increase to the median value home if you happen to own that home in Apple Valley. There will be bond issuance costs of somewhere between $1 million and $1.5 million as we sell those different series of bonds, and we're spreading those series of bonds out for a couple different reasons. One, so that the tax impact doesn't hit taxpayers all at one time. And 2, we couldn't spend that much money all at one time anyways. We just don't have the capacity to work on all of those projects at the same time. And overall, this will take somewhere between 4 and 6 years to complete, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see. So we have what we're referring to as large projects, that being Redwood Kelley, the Aquatic Center, the Community Center, and the Youth Baseball Softball Complex. These large projects here's the budgets for those, and here's how those dollars are divided up between construction management and design fees and construction cost estimates and whatnot. It totals nearly $50 million of the $73 million investment the community is going to be making in the park system. And this just outlines kind of the project timeline for all of those. Again, can't do them all at once, so we are spacing them out. We'll be, as I mentioned, we are tackling the Hayes Arena project right now. We'll be starting the Aquatic Center project when the swim season gets over in August. Our contractors will work on it through the fall, into the winter, into the spring of '25, and we hope to reopen in the spring of '25 with no one really knowing we did anything short of they're going to come and they're going to see new, if you will. We're hoping to get the youth baseball, softball complex started maybe this fall, if not this fall, early this spring. And then Redwood Park this will be the last summer of the Redwood Pool as people know it, assuming that it works when we try to start it up here in June. But at the end of the season, that'll be the last that people will be able to use the Redwood Pool. We'll be into demolition of the entire park in late 2024, construction all of 25, so no one will really be using the park at all in 2025, with the goal of having the pool and the rest of the park reopen to the public in the spring of '26. Then we've got Kelley Park and the community center will follow in the years to come. As a part of this process, the city has an ordinance that says to pull a building permit, you have to have platted land. Many of our parks, in fact, most of our parks are not platted. They're usually outlots that we get through the development process. And so we are going through a process of platting parks where we're going to need to pull a building permit. And those are Kelley, Redwood, and Hayes. And I think later on in the agenda, you're going to be dealing with the replatting and some of the planning issues related to the Kelley Park. And eventually, you'll be dealing with Hayes and with Redwood, correct?
Planning Commission actually
Yeah.
won't need to review those because they're final plans.
Okay. So I guess we won't be bringing that to the Planning Commission, just for the nature of the action that's needed. And then tonight, the state statute requires the Planning Commission to hold this meeting and to review it and make sure that that you find it in compliance with the city's comprehensive plan. Just touch on construction manager at risk again. For the 5 large projects, we plan on using construction manager at risk. In that process, we're at the point where we're going to be sending out RFPs to firms that we've selected. And we hope to be under contract with a few firms by early May, so we can start designing projects and getting more firm numbers than what we have today. As a part of the entire overhaul of the park system, we're going to be updating all of our park signage, so all of the park ID signs that you see along the roadways that identify which park it may be. Most of them are different colors, different fonts, different sizes, different shapes. So we're going to standardize our park system signs, and the Parks Committee and the City Council have adopted a park system sign master plan that we'll use to guide us in that. And then as we make updates to our entire park system and all of our facilities, we'll be making sure that everything that we do is handicap accessible. A lot of what we have is so old that it predated the ADA, so a lot of what we have doesn't necessarily meet some of those requirements, but as we make these improvements, everything we do will meet or exceed the current ADA requirements. And then as a part of this entire process, we want to make sure residents know what we're doing, how much we're spending, when they can expect things to happen. And so on our website, we'll have information so that if people are curious, they can go to our website and find out what are the plans for such and such a park, or how much did they spend at such and such a park. And we'll have that broken down, probably not into the weeds kind of territory, but we'll have it broken down so people can understand the investments we're making across the entire park system. Again, this is going to take probably 4 to 6 years, maybe a little bit more than that. We've had significant community engagement, but there's more community engagement yet to come. So when we pick playground equipment, when we do the youth baseball softball complex, we're certainly going to be engaging the neighborhoods so that they know what our plans are, so that if they have any objections or any concerns, we can try to address them to the best of our ability. So there's plenty of community engagement yet to come. And I guess that's the end of the presentation. I can stand and answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Chair and Eric, thank you so much for the presentation.
Yeah.
I basically just want to say thank you for all the work that you have done on this, that everybody, I mean, I know there's a lot of people involved, so thanks to all of them. When COVID hit, my 3 kids had a rough time, obviously, but having the parks, and we have 3 parks we can walk to from our house, and they love them all. And so I want to say thank you for all the work that you guys have all done on this. I love that things are going to get updated, and hopefully if everything passes, but yeah, so thank you.
Appreciate it. And it has been a team effort. I mean, there's been a lot of people, a lot of Parks and Recreation staff, our communication staff, our Parks and Recreation Commission, our committee, the City Council. Everyone's been pretty supportive. We had a vote yes committee that was a part of the process, and I think everyone kind of got behind and saw the need, and I think that's that's a huge part of why it was as successful as it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chair Scanlon and Eric, just want to reiterate, I'm proud to live in a city where the citizens voted unanimously in each precinct to invest in the city. It was nice to look through there and see that everybody is on board. You did a nice job with the presentation. I was really excited to come in and listen to the presentation this evening, so thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Chair Scanlon, Eric, yeah, very impressive. So quite a comprehensive list of projects across the city, and I think touching a lot of different areas of parks and recreation. So it's the planning, the committees, everything that's gone into this is quite impressive. I think this will be adding some and improving many of the park and recreational amenities here in Apple Valley. So well done.
Thank you.
I also just wanted to thank you for all your effort. I think nationally, Apple Valley has been recognized on numerous occasions, and a big part of that is the park system. And that it's nice to see that reinvestment and the backing of the community with that. And I think the job that you've done with your communication vote, and then what you're looking at doing after now as you move forward on the website, that people can easily go in and on their own look to see what's going on a particular project or get information. I think it's a great way of handling things to keep those avenues of communication and transparency open for the community to take a look at things. So thank you.
Yeah.
And all your people that are behind you working on this.
Yeah. Thank you. We, the referendums are held across the United States in many cities, and our staff has done a pretty good job of trying to listen and learn from what everyone else has done, what's worked and what hasn't worked, and what's been important, and we're just trying to follow best practices, for lack of a better way to put it, and try to make sure that residents do know what's going on, and so that they are informed and they are part of the process. Because at the end of the day, it's residents' tax dollars that are making these improvements.
So true. So again, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Alex, could you put the resolution up, please?
I don't have a resolution up on there.
Or
So your action this evening is to adopt that resolution.
correct.
I didn't create a separate presentation for that.
No. That's what I meant is what you have here. So if the commission.
Chair, I move we adopt resolution approving a finding of compliance with the comprehensive plan for the parks referendums projects.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler and seconded by Commissioner Pruitt. And all in favor of this moving forward indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, and that will move on to City Council next. Thank you. The next item we have this evening is our public hearing, which I'll open. It's item 4A, Parks and Recreation Parks Referendum rezoning of Kelley Park. And that is going to, just a moment.
Thank you, Chair. One of the reasons why we had you move this item to be after that is to give the context as to why we're doing this. So this is part of the Parks Referendum process. As we were beginning to go through the process of platting Kelley Park, bringing all the parcels together, as it's actually 6 separate parcels, which you'll see in a moment. One of the recommendations from the state attorney was also to rezone this property to bring it into the institutional zone. So the action being requested is to rezone the 6 parcels that make up Kelley Park and a portion of Fontana Trail to rezone it from PD 739 to P institutional. So Kelley Park originally was set up with several perimeter parcels that were actually going to go to private development for townhomes. Those parcels then went tax forfeit, the city acquired them, and have been utilizing them largely as open field, but has the intention to turn them into Kelley Park properties for many, many years. Additionally, Fontana Trail runs through the park and at one time went north of the site as well, but then was vacated for the Galante Apartments as well, or Gabella Apartments, my apologies. So that's the portion mentioned for the rezoning. The site will not need a preliminary plat, so the Planning Commission, this will be kind of your last time reviewing this project, but it will be going forward. And you'll see public hearings for the vacation of Fontana Trail between 14th Street and 152nd. And then you will see council actions for the platting. A final plat will come forward and combine all of the parcels of the main site and then leave the perimeter parcel between Fresco Terrace there that has a small fountain and some landscaping features as a second parcel. For the evening, what the Planning Commission is being asked is to essentially bring this from a permitted use within PD 739 park property into P institutional to make it consistent with the rest of the parks within the city, as we have a few that are in planned developments, but most of our parks, the vast majority, are in the institutional zoning district. I did include a excerpt from Eric's plan, but if you have or from Eric's presentation in this, but if you have specific questions about the park, I'd ask that you refer to him or to that prior presentation. But essentially, we're looking for the Planning Commission's recommendation at this meeting, and then this action will take some time as we're going to bring forward all of the Kelley Park actions as one single item to the City Council, presumably at a much later date when the plat is getting finalized. With that, if there are any questions, I stand for them. And the action is before you on the screen.
Commissioners, any questions? Any questions from members of the audience? There's no further questions from the commissioners. I will close the public hearing. If no further comments, I will close the public hearing. It is policy of the Planning Commissioner not to act on an item on the same night as a public hearing. The Planning Commissioner will weigh all comments and information it received tonight in its deliberation at further meetings. This item will continue to appear at further Planning Commission agendas until a recommendation on the petition can be forwarded to the City Council. In this particular case, if the
Mr. Chair,
Commission chooses.
I move we recommend approval to rezone Kelley Park at 6855 Fortino Street from PD 739, Plan Development 739, to P institutional.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler and seconded by Commissioner McComb. Those in favor indicate by indicating aye.
Aye.
Aye. That moves forward to the City Council then. Thank you, Alex. Next item is other business. Tim?
Mr. Chair, just a reminder, our next meeting is Wednesday, April 3rd at 7 p.m., followed by April 17th of April. Our 2 council meetings are scheduled for March 28th of next week and followed by April 11th thereafter. And we hope to see you at the upcoming April 3rd meeting. And let us know if you have any questions on any item tonight. Happy to help you.
Thank you, Tim.
Move we adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Schindler and seconded by Commissioner Pruitt, or excuse me, Mahone. Indicate by aye to approve adjournment.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.